See, in that vessel, a weighed quantity of organic substance is placed. A weighed quantity of organic substance. Here you can see pure dry oxygen is passed, and this one is copper oxide. Copper oxide, you know, copper oxide will catalyze the conversion of carbon and hydrogen to carbon dioxide and H2O. Here you can see two glass tubes, U tubes. It is not a YouTube that you are using to see the videos. It is the exact YouTube which is using in our laboratory. Glass, made up of glass, U tubes. Experimental purpose. Here you can see two U tubes. The first one contains calcium chloride. So the gases coming out of the furnace is passed through this calcium chloride U tube. Then what happens? All the water present will be absorbed here by calcium chloride. This is a previously weighed tube. So after passing the complete gases, we can detach this U tube and measure the new weight. And the difference will give you mass of carbon dioxide produced. H2O produced. And the remaining gases will be passed into the potassium hydroxide solution. Potassium hydroxide will absorb carbon dioxide gas completely in it. This one also a previously weighed tube. After passing the complete gas coming out of the furnace through this tube, we can measure the new weight. The difference in the weight giving you the mass of carbon dioxide formed. Is it clear? Is it clear, the experimental part?
So can you please explain once more?
In this experiment, we will convert carbon and hydrogen in the organic compound quantitatively to H2O and CO2. How will you convert it? കഴിഞ്ഞ ക്ലാസ്സിൽ നമ്മളത് ക്ലിയർ ആയിട്ട് എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ചെയ്തതാണ്. ഓർഗാനിക് കോമ്പൗണ്ടിനെ കുപ്രിക് ഓക്സൈഡുമായിട്ട് ഹീറ്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഈ കൺവേർഷൻ നടക്കും. ഇപ്പോൾ ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റേറ്റീവ് കൺവേർഷൻ ആണ്. കംപ്ലീറ്റ് കൺവേർഷൻ is needed. For that we will use pure dry oxygen also in the furnace. So the substance is heated in a current of pure dry oxygen which will pass through cupric oxide. When it is passing through the cupric oxide, all the carbon present in the organic compound will be converted to carbon dioxide. All the hydrogen present in the organic compound will be converted to H2O, and these gases which is coming out of the furnace will be passed through the first U tube which contains anhydrous calcium chloride. Anhydrous calcium chloride will absorb H2O. Calcium chloride has high affinity for H2O, so it will absorb H2O completely. So the H2O produced, that will be absorbed in the first tube, and if you measure the weight of the tube, that will be the sum of weight of the tube plus the H2O produced. The sum of these two weights. If you know the weight before the experiment, how will you find out the weight of H2O? New weight after passing the gases minus the weight before the experiment. That will give you the mass of H2O produced. The gases that is continuously passing to the next U tube, which contains potassium hydroxide solution. Potassium hydroxide solution can absorb carbon dioxide in it. So all the carbon dioxide which is present in the outcoming gases will be absorbed in the potassium hydroxide tube. If you measure the mass of potassium hydroxide tube, that will be the sum of the masses of carbon dioxide produced and the mass of the tube. So if you know the previous weight, that means weight of the tube before the experiment, you can subtract it from the new mass, then you will get the mass of carbon dioxide. So from this experiment, what will you get? Mass of H2O produced and mass of CO2 produced. So here the principle, what is the principle? I will again tell it. Both carbon and hydrogen are estimated in one experiment. A known mass of organic compound is burned in the presence of excess of oxygen and copper 2 oxide means cupric oxide. Carbon and hydrogen in the compound are oxidized to carbon dioxide and water respectively. It is the experimental part. The experiment is not important. You should know the principle. What is the principle? Carbon and hydrogen are quantitatively converted to carbon dioxide and H2O when it is heated with the cupric oxide in a current of pure dry oxygen. Is it clear now? Now we can go to the calculation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now the calculation. You know carbon dioxide. What is the mass of carbon dioxide, molecular mass of carbon dioxide? Molecular mass of carbon dioxide.
So 44.
44 gram. In 44 gram carbon dioxide, how many grams of carbon are present? How many grams of carbon are present?
So 12 grams.
12 grams. That is the basis of our calculation. Mass of carbon in 44 gram carbon dioxide. That is 12 gram. Mass of carbon in 44 gram carbon dioxide, that is 12 gram. That is the basis of our calculation. Here we calculated the mass of carbon dioxide from W gram organic compound, isn't it? Sorry, M gram. Here it is taken as M gram. Let the mass of organic compound be M gram. Mass of water and carbon dioxide produced to be M1 and M2 gram respectively. So for the experiment, we have taken M gram organic compound and the mass of water produced M1 and mass of carbon dioxide produced M2. Now how will you calculate percentage of carbon? You know mass of carbon in 44 gram carbon dioxide equal to 12 gram. I think it is clear to you. 44 gram is the molecular mass of carbon dioxide. ഒരു മോളിക്യൂളിൽ 12 gram കാർബണേ ഉള്ളൂ. Only one atom of carbon, 12 gram carbon. So mass of carbon in 44 gram carbon dioxide is equal to 12 gram. So mass of carbon in 1 gram carbon dioxide, 12 by 44. So what is the percentage of carbon? You know what is the mass of, if you want to calculate, you should know what is the mass of carbon in M2 grams of carbon dioxide. That is the mass of carbon dioxide produced in the experiment. So the mass of carbon in M2 gram carbon dioxide. 12 into M2 divided by 44. Now percentage. It is the mass of carbon produced from W gram organic compound. So mass of carbon produced divided by W into 100. It is mass of carbon produced divided by W into 100. Percentage of carbon. W into M2 into 100 divided by 44 into M. Did you understand the calculation? Is it clear? Calculation part, is it clear? If you have any doubt, ask it and make it clear. Okay, I think it is clear to you. 12 into M2 means it is the carbon dioxide produced into 100 divided by 44 into M. M means it is the mass of organic compound taken. Mass of organic compound taken. Now we can see the calculation of H2O, percentage of H2O. H2O, what is the molecular mass of H2O? What is the molecular mass of H2O?
18 grams.
18 grams. In 18 gram H2O, how many grams of hydrogen present?
So 2 grams.
2 grams. That is the basis of our calculation. Mass of hydrogen in 18 gram H2O, 2. So mass of hydrogen in 1 gram, 2 divided by 18. Mass of hydrogen in M2 gram, sorry, M1. M1 gram, what is the mass of hydrogen in M1 gram? 2 into M1 divided by 18. 2 into M1 divided by 18. So it is not M2, M1. 2 into M1 divided by 18, therefore percentage of hydrogen is equal to a mass of hydrogen divided by M into 100. Mass of hydrogen divided by M into 100. M is the mass of organic compound. Mass of hydrogen 2 into M1 divided by 18. So 2 into M1 into 100 divided by 18 into M. It is simple, isn't it? When you solve many problems using these equations, it will be clear to you. നിങ്ങൾ ധാരാളം പ്രോബ്ലം ചെയ്യുക, അപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇത് വളരെ ക്ലിയർ ആവും. Any doubt for you? Any doubt? If you have no doubt, I will give you a problem. Try to solve it. All of you have to solve it. It is a problem. On complete combustion, 0.246 gram of an organic compound gave 0.198 gram of carbon dioxide and 0.1014 gram of water. Determine the percentage composition of carbon and hydrogen in the compound. You have the equation to find out percentage of carbon and percentage of hydrogen. To find the percentage of carbon, you require M, that is mass of organic compound. What is the mass of organic compound? 0.246 gram. M is equal to 0.246 gram. Gave 0.198 gram of carbon dioxide, M2. M2 is equal to 0.198 gram. M1, mass of H2O, 0.1014 gram. Percentage of carbon dioxide, 12 by 44 into M2 divided by W into 100. Substitute and find out. And what is the percentage of H2O? 2 by 18 into M1 divided by W into 100. We have the equation, substitute the values and find it out. Substitute ചെയ്ത് നിങ്ങൾ കണ്ടുപിടിക്കുക. Substitute and find out. Try to calculate it. It hold all the quantities, the terms given and the data given. Now it is easy to substitute and find out the answer. Find out percentage of carbon and percentage of hydrogen in the organic compound. percentage of carbon and percentage of hydrogen in the organic compound. Okay, it is solved problem in the textbook. You can see percentage of carbon 12 into 0.198, that is the carbon dioxide produced, into 100 divided by 44 into 0.246, it is the mass of organic compound. 21.95 percentage. What is the percentage of hydrogen? 2 by 18 into M1 into 100 divided by W. M1 is the mass of H2O produced, that is 0.1014 into 100 divided by 0.246, that is the mass of the organic compound. Where it is clear, this problem? You have to respond, otherwise I will not understand whether it is clear to you or not. Do you have any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, estimation of nitrogen, that is the next one. For the estimation of nitrogen, we are using two methods, Dumas method and Geldas method. First, we can see what is Dumas method. Here also, we are not discussing the experimental part. I'll just mention what is the experiment. We require the principle of Dumas method and the calculation. These two are required. We'll just explain the experimental part. The principle of Dumas method, an organic compound containing nitrogen, when oxidized, all the elements other than nitrogen will be converted to their oxides. Then the elemental nitrogen will become free. That is the basic principle. When an organic compound containing nitrogen is oxidized with oxygen in presence of cupric oxide in an atmosphere of carbon dioxide, all the elements except nitrogen will be oxidized to their oxides. If the conditions are a very high temperature pressure, then there is a chance for the oxidation of nitrogen also. However, the gases produced will pass through copper gauze. So if there is any nitrogen in the oxidized state, that copper gauze will reduce that oxide of nitrogen to nitrogen. So here in this experiment, what is happening? The organic compound is oxidized with the cupric oxide in an atmosphere of carbon dioxide. Then all the elements in the organic compound are oxidized, and we will get only nitrogen in the elemental form. Except nitrogen, all other elements will be oxidized and will form their oxides. But nitrogen will remain in its elemental state, nitrogen gas. Now, I will explain the experiment, then it will be clear to you. Here you can see a furnace, and this furnace contains cupric oxide and organic compound. In order to create an inert atmosphere, you can see CO2 is bubbled. CO2 is passed. CO2 is passed into this furnace. And here, cupric oxide and organic compound mixture is placed here. A non-mass of organic compound and cupric oxide placed here. It is cupric oxide. Coarse cupric oxide means finely powdered cupric oxide. This one is reduced to copper gauze. Copper gauze is placed. So here the reaction will take place in the furnace. Organic compound will be completely oxidized to their oxides. The elements will be converted to their oxides except nitrogen. If any one of the nitrogen is oxidized, that will be reduced to elemental nitrogen when it passes through copper gauze. All the gases coming out of the furnace are passed into a nitrometer. Nitrometer is using to measure the volume of the nitrogen. So all the gases will, when it is passing through this nitrometer, it is potassium hydroxide solution. All the gases except nitrogen will be absorbed here, and nitrogen, only nitrogen will pass through this solution, and that will be collected here. Nitrogen will be collected here, so we can measure the volume of nitrogen because it is graduated tube. The tube is graduated, therefore we can measure the volume of nitrogen. A little amount of water vapor also will be associated with it. So in order to find out the pressure of the nitrogen, nitrometer can be used to measure volume and pressure of nitrogen. So the exact pressure of nitrogen, the pressure in the nitrometer minus aqueous tension. You may remember Dalton's law of partial pressures that you have studied in the 4th chapter. Dalton's law of partial pressures that you have to apply here. So from the pressure you have to subtract pressure obtained from nitrometer. That is the total pressure of nitrogen and water vapor. And in order to get the pressure of nitrogen, the measured pressure minus aqueous tension. That is the pressure of water vapor. This is the experiment. എന്താണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്? ഓർഗാനിക് കോമ്പൗണ്ടിലെ എല്ലാ എലമെന്റ്സും ഓക്സിഡൈസ് ചെയ്യപ്പെടുന്നു കോപ്പർ 2 ഓക്സൈഡിന്റെ പ്രസൻസ്. നൈട്രജൻ ഉൾപ്പെടെ ചിലപ്പോൾ ഓക്സിഡൈസ് ചെയ്തേക്കാം. ഈ ഗ്യാസസ് എല്ലാം ഓക്സിഡൈസ്ഡ് സ്റ്റേറ്റിലുള്ള ഗ്യാസസ് എല്ലാം കോപ്പർ ഗോസിലൂടെ പാസ് ചെയ്യും. അപ്പോൾ എന്ത് സംഭവിക്കുന്നു? എക്സെപ്റ്റ് നൈട്രജൻ, all other oxides will pass through it without any change, but oxide of nitrogen will be reduced to elemental nitrogen, and the gases coming out of the furnace passed into a nitrometer where potassium hydroxide is filled. All other gases will dissolve in it, and only nitrogen passes through the solution and will be collected on the top part of the nitrometer. And this one is graduated, so we will directly get the volume of water, and we can calculate from the volume of nitrogen produced. We can also measure the pressure from nitrometer. So from the volume of nitrogen produced and from the pressure of nitrogen, we can calculate mass of nitrogen in the given amount of organic compound. Now we can see the calculation part. Did you understand the principle? Experimental part is not important. Whether the principle is clear to you? That is clear. Principle of tube mass method. Please respond. I think it is clear to you. The explanation summarized here. The mixture of gases so produced is collected over an aqueous solution of potassium hydroxide, which absorbs carbon dioxide. Nitrogen is collected in the upper part of the graduated tube. Now calculation. The calculation is based on the equation P1 V1 divided by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. That equation is used here for the calculation. Here the volume of nitrogen collected is not at STP, at a different temperature. So we have to find out the pressure of nitrogen, volume of nitrogen, and the reaction temperature. From that we can find out the volume at STP. The reason, what is the pressure at STP? We know it is 1 bar. And what is the pressure, what is the temperature at STP? 273 Kelvin temperature, all this known. So we can find out volume at STP. That is given here. Let the mass of organic compound m gram volume of nitrogen collected V1 ml, room temperature T1 Kelvin. Then volume of nitrogen at STP is equal to P1 V1 divided by T1. That is not changed. P1 V1 by T1 into 273. That is the temperature, standard temperature, divided by 760 mm of mercury pressure. 760 is the standard pressure, 1 atmosphere pressure. Then we can find out the volume of nitrogen at STP. Volume of nitrogen at STP. Suppose it is VML. After getting the volume of nitrogen, we have the equation. What is the mass of 22,400 ml of nitrogen gas at STP? What is the mass of 22,400 ml of nitrogen gas at STP? What is the volume of 22,400 ml of nitrogen gas at STP? Tell it. Anybody?
Sir, question on clear.
Mass of 22,400 ml of nitrogen at STP. Mass of 22,400 ml of nitrogen at STP. Mm-hmm. 28 gram, it is given here. 22,400 ml of nitrogen at STP weighs 28 gram. That is its molar mass, isn't it? 22,400 ml is the volume of 1 mole. So its mass is molar mass, that is 28 gram. Now, here we got a volume, that is VML, volume at STP, VML. So it is the volume, it is the mass of 22,400. So what is the mass of 1 ml? 28 divided by 22,400. So what is the mass of VML? 28 divided by 22,400 into V. So mass of 1 ml, 28 divided by 22,400. Mass of VML nitrogen at STP, 22 divided by 22,400 into V. Therefore, what is the percentage? Mass of nitrogen divided by mass of organic compound into 100. So percentage of nitrogen is equal to 28 divided by 22,400 into V divided by M into 100. Is it clear, the calculation? Is it clear, the calculation?
Yes, sir.
If there is a problem, easily you can substitute, find out the value. For example, I will give you a problem. Mass method for estimation of nitrogen, 0.3 gram of an organic compound. That means M is equal to 0.3. 0.3 gram of an organic compound gave 50 ml of nitrogen collected at 300 Kelvin temperature and 715 mm pressure. Calculate the percentage composition of nitrogen in the compound. Aqueous tension at 300 Kelvin is equal to 15 mm. So here, first you have to find out volume at STP. Here P1 is given, P1 715, V1, it is not 715, pressure of nitrogen minus aqueous tension. So 715 minus 15, 700 mm, that is P1, 50 ml V1, 300 Kelvin T1. P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. What is P2? You know, 760 mm pressure, 1 atmosphere pressure, 760 mm. And T2, 273. The only unknown quantity is volume at STP. So using that equation, you can determine the volume. So that volume is 41.9 ml. If you substitute the values and calculate, volume at STP is 41.9 ml. Now mass of 1 ml nitrogen at STP, you know, 28 by 22,400. So mass of 41.9 ml, 28 by 22,400 into 41.9 ml. So percentage of nitrogen divided by m into 100. Substitute the values. V 41.9 ml. M. What is the mass of organic compound taken? 0.3. Substitute the values. You will get the answer as 17.46%. Is it clear? You are not responding. Okay, now the next method, Geldas method. Here also only the principle is required. What is the principle? Organic compound containing nitrogen, when it is boiled with concentrated sulfuric acid, all the nitrogen in the organic compound will be quantitatively converted to ammonium sulfate. That is the first point. What is the first point? When an organic compound containing nitrogen is heated with concentrated sulfuric acid, the nitrogen in the organic compound will be quantitatively converted to ammonium sulfate. The organic compound ഉള്ള നൈട്രജനെ മുഴുവനായിട്ടും അമോണിയം സൾഫേറ്റ് ആയിട്ട് കൺവേർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റേറ്റീവ് കൺവേർഷൻ ടു അമോണിയം സൾഫേറ്റ് എങ്ങനെ? By boiling with concentrated sulfuric acid. Concentrated sulfuric acid ഒഴിച്ച് boil ചെയ്യുക. Now the second step, when this ammonium sulfate is heated with the sodium hydroxide, an alkali, the ammonia present or the ammonium salt present in it will be quantitatively converted to ammonia gas. The ammonium salt, ammonium sulfate present in it will be quantitatively converted to ammonia gas. That is the principle of Geldas method. It has two parts. In the first part, nitrogen in an organic compound can be quantitatively converted to ammonium sulfate by boiling with concentrated sulfuric acid. That ammonium sulfate can be quantitatively converted to ammonia by boiling with NaOH. Ammonia is basic in nature, you know. So the amount of ammonia formed can be estimated using an acid. If you have an acid, we can estimate the amount of ammonia formed. That is the basic principle of Geldas method. I will read it. The compound containing nitrogen is heated with the concentrated sulfuric acid. Nitrogen in the compound gets converted to ammonium sulfate. The resulting acid mixture is then heated with the excess of sodium hydroxide. The liberated ammonia gas is absorbed in an excess of standard solution of sulfuric acid. The amount of ammonia produced is determined by estimating the amount of sulfuric acid consumed in the reaction. Its experimental part is simple, but it takes 2 or 3 hours for the completion. Just to show the experimental part, it is Geldas flask. In this flask, we will take the non-mass of organic compound and we will add excess quantity of concentrated sulfuric acid and it will heat. It will boil for 1 or 2 hours. When it is boiled, for 1 or 2 hours in presence of copper sulfate, what happens? All the nitrogen will be converted to ammonium sulfate. And in the second step, this Jaldas flask, we will add sodium hydroxide to Jaldas flask, and the solution will be neutralized, and again excess of NaOH is added and it is boiled. When it is boiled, what happens? Ammonia gas will liberate, and that ammonia gas will pass through this condenser and will be collected here. And here we will take a standard solution of acid. So ammonia will directly neutralize the acid. This is the experimental part, but don't need to study it in detail. Just understand, that is enough. So from this experiment, what will you get? What is the result that we are getting? We will get the amount of H2SO4 required, or the volume of H2SO4 required to neutralize the produced ammonia gas. That is the result of this experiment. After doing all these experiments, we are getting only one data. What is it? Volume of H2SO4 reacted with ammonia produced in the experiment. We require that volume for the calculation. Now we can go to the calculation. Listen, half liter 1 molar H2SO4 is equivalent to 17 gram NH3, which is equivalent to 40 gram nitrogen. ഇവിടെ നിങ്ങൾ പ്രത്യേകം ഒന്ന് ശ്രദ്ധിക്കണം. ഞാനിവിടെ ഹാഫ് ലിറ്റേഴ്സ് എന്നാണ് എഴുതിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. Instead of writing 1 liter 1 molar H2SO4, what is written? Half liters of 1 molar H2SO4 is equivalent to 17 gram NH3. Why it is written half liter? Because 1 liter 1 molar H2SO4 can react with 2 moles of NH3. That means 34 grams of NH3. So 1 liter will react with the 34 grams of NH3. So half liter will react with the half liter 1 molar H2SO4 will react with the 17 grams of NH3, which is equivalent to 14 gram nitrogen. Why? In NH3 there is only one nitrogen, that is 14 gram nitrogen. But in this experiment, the volume is not a half liter. That may be, volume may be V liter. So here we are substituting the volume as V liter. So half into V liter into 1 molar H2SO4 is equivalent to 14 into V gram of nitrogen. So instead of 1 liter, here V liter is substituted. So 1 into V. If it is 2 liter into 2. If it is 0.5 liter into 0.5. If it is 0.2 liter into 0.2. Thus we will get mass of nitrogen in that particular volume. Now molarity. Molarity may not be 1 in all the cases. Molarity can be 0.5, 0.1, 0.01. The values may differ. So now we are changing that particular quantity. Instead of 1, m molar. Half into V liter m molar H2SO4. Here it was 1 molar. So instead of 1, what is written here? M molar H2SO4 is equivalent to 14 into V into m gram nitrogen. 14 into V into m gram nitrogen. Now, instead of writing half V, if you are writing V here, then what happens? You have to multiply the other side with the 2, isn't it? If you multiply the two sides with the 2, then what happens? V liter m molar H2SO4 is equal to 2 into 14 into V into m gram nitrogen. It is the mass of nitrogen which is present in V liter, which is present in the organic compound if it neutralizes V liters of m molar H2SO4. Now mass of nitrogen equivalent to V liters of H2SO4, 2 into 14 into V into M. So what is the percentage of nitrogen? Mass of nitrogen divided by the mass of organic compound into 100. That is 2 into 14 V into M divided by M. It is mass of organic compound into 100. So here V is the volume of reacted H2SO4 in liters. Did you understand the calculation? കാൽക്കുലേഷൻ പാർട്ട് മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുക. പലതവണ നിങ്ങൾ ഇതിലൂടെ പോയാൽ നിങ്ങൾക്കത് മനസ്സിലാവും. ട്രൈ ടു അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ് ഇറ്റ് വെൽ. Then study the final equation, and if you try to solve many problems, you can refer NCERT exercises. If you try to solve many problems, it will be clear to you. Okay, I will give you a problem, then you will understand it is very easy. Read the question or write it down. Read the question. What is it? During estimation of nitrogen present in an organic compound by Jaldas method, the ammonia evolved from 0.5 gram of the compound. So W is equal to 0.5. In Jaldas estimation of nitrogen, neutralize 10 ml of 1 molar H2SO4. So V is 10 divided by 1000 liter. V is volume in liter. Here it is given in ml. How will you convert ml to liter? Divided by 1000. So 10 divided by 1000 ml. What is the molarity? 1 molar. So we got all the quantities required. V 10 by 1000, M 1, then M, small m, 0.5 gram. So what is the equation? Percentage. In order to find out percentage of nitrogen in the organic compound, what is our equation? 2 into 14 into V into M divided by M into 100. Substitute the values. What is V? 10 by 1000. What is capital M? 1. What is small m? 0.5. When you substitute these values, you will get 2 into 14 into 10 by 1000 into 1 into 100 divided by 0.5. What is the percentage?
Sir, is it 56?
Yes, 56%. Okay, I think it is enough for today. We discussed the estimation of. Okay,
Sir.
okay.
ജെറിനെ കയറാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല പറയുന്നു. ജെറിന് ആദ്യം കയറി തന്നെ പിന്നെ ലെഫ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് പിന്നെ കയറാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല.
Our class is over. Jerin Okay, our class is over, and if you want to clarify any doubt, you can ask it